German chicken wing here says today's news is about Everton, but let's talk about City for more than an hour. Well, we spoke about Chelsea as well, and we spoke about Everton in this time. But of course, we're going to speak about it because it's what's trending. That's what fans are talking about, and that's what fan channels do. You all want City relegated so your foul clubs could win the league. I don't want City relegated if they've done nothing wrong. But if City have cheated, if City have financially doped, if City have broken the rules, that others have stayed within, because we could have all done that. It's how we theoretically all of our clubs could have done it and been able to spend. Like if Man United, if it turns out all these things are true, what City have done, if Man United would have done the same thing, we could have spent even more than you, which might have if we could actually spend genuinely more than you by an exponential amount of ways, we might have been able to keep up with you a little bit more. But the point is this: I don't want you guys getting in trouble if you've done nothing wrong. But if you've cheated, absolutely. Because you being so much better than everybody, if you've done it through ill-gotten gains, from a point of view of perspective, you make everybody else's clubs look worse than they maybe really are. You really do. If City are found guilty, the responsibility and respect thing is to strip and relegate. You can't cheat to win, is what Ray says here. Sorry, if Oil City cheated, then Arsenal should be given their Rob title from last year. Corruption just destroys sport.
We're all lining up. Let's go. We're all Premier League champions. Congratulations, Arteta. Congratulations, club. Congratulations, Jose. Congratulations, Ollie. Hey, listen, we all get the title apiece. You know, we all happy.
Do you know what's really fun? Do you know what's really funny about this, though? Is I've known people that don't like Jose defend City. They're United fans, but they're like, no, FFP's a joke. Arsenal fans who hate Arteta, they're like, no, FFP's a joke. Because what they're desperate to not happen is for City to get in trouble, have things stripped or relegations and everything else. And then they realize, damn, those managers who are hated on for not being able to win should have won or could have won, right? That's what they don't want. They're actually panicking. It's like, oh no, because that blows up their entire art. Some of them have made a living for the last 6 or 7 years off of hate. Originally started off by hating on Jose. Everything's gone if that happens. And I do get it. It does make me laugh. It's so funny.
Speaking of straight facts, can you imagine League Honor if you tell him Arteta has a title? No.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Do you know what I would do? Honestly, I'd pay for this because it'd be a laugh, right? Say City. I know City fans will hate me saying this, but it's hypothetical. It's a bit of a laugh. City gets stripped. And everyone who's owed a Premier League in the last decade gets to have their own ceremony. I would pay good money, to have Lee Gunner hand the trophy to Arteta. I'd love it, bro.
What an idea right there. Oh my God. I love it. Lee Gunner's going to be, for the first time ever, it's going to be system error 404. He wouldn't know what to say.
You get Lee Gunner has to give it to him. In the Man United fan base, it'd be someone like, you know, that Mike, Love United, Hate Glazers, right? He's such a funny troll. He's hilarious. I'd get him. He'd have to hand it to Ollie as an example. I'd have to find who hated Jose. Who really hated Jose? Rants. I love you, bro, but I'd get Rants. Give it to Jose. People that just hated on these guys. I'd love it. It'd be so funny, man. It'd be so funny. The Premier League is not accusing City of cheating. More waffle. What are they accused? That's fine. So what are they? Again, you're right. I don't think the Premier League in any document has said they cheated. But what are they implying? Come on now, my friend. Let's stop playing semantics here. So if Barca are guilty, then Arsenal will have a Champions League. I've only read the story once about Barca. I swear it's only La Liga referees they were paying. I swear. So, yeah, not quite, as far as I can understand. Terry, remember Hussam, his Premier League has an asterisk. Oh, yeah, because of COVID.
That's crazy. You know why I felt that's crazy from you as a City fan? Because you actually won the COVID Premier League. 2020, 2021, there was no fan in any stadium from August till May. I saw for 30 games out of 38 fans in the stadiums. And I'll add furthermore, let me make it even more painful for you. If Liverpool Football Club didn't play a single game post-COVID break, they still would have been Premier League champions. So, yeah.
I'm not even joking, though. When there was talk originally at the beginning of all of that, they were going to, you know, like the Eredivisie, they scrapped it, nobody won it. I was like, it was correct. If you guys weren't as clear as you were, I reckon they'd have scrapped it. Yes. It was only because you guys were so far ahead, they just probably couldn't do it. Let's be honest, City fans, you guys cheated, is what Marshall D. Teach says here. Luke says, think about the teams that were relegated as well. It opens a whole can of worms. It certainly does. And the thing is with Everton, That's why they have to be punished. This idea, I saw Gary Lineker's tweet today. It's excessive. Excessive based on what? Excessive based on what? They've broken the rules. They must be punished. Do Hassan versus Big Steve debate 1 hour special like Mohammed, Hijab, and Rabbi. Listen, do you know I wouldn't do that? I actually watched that debate for the first 20 minutes. I couldn't watch it. Do you know, both just shouting over each other. And I was like, I like listening to some of those debates. I've listened to a lot of them, not so much Piers Morgan's, but a lot of them in the last few weeks to try and educate myself on that situation. So no, I wouldn't want it to be like, it's too shouty, too much. But yeah, I don't know if Big Steve will appear with Hussam again. I'll put it bluntly. Liverpool literally admitted tapping up VVD, but hey, Liverpool is clear and pure. Stop pretending any of the top 6 teams are spotless. Hypocrisy stinks. Guess remove all titles from Liverpool with VVD. Lol.
Danny, here's the thing. See the difference between me and you? I'm not a you know what, like the Man City fans in the chat today. I've already admitted it. The difference between you know what would make your life so much easier? Just own it. I admitted it. Yeah, Liverpool cheated. We got charged. We got convicted. We paid the fine. And yeah, Virgil van Dijk was supposed to join us in the summer. We apologized. We made a public statement and we signed him in January. Now what? Like, I don't think, once again, that doesn't rebuttal anything I've said about your football club. And we were supposed to sign Van Dijk in the summer. We made a public statement and apology. And we signed him in January. That's it. You're comparing that to cooking up the books to £700 million a year and all the expenditure you've had. Imagine if I gave Klopp Pep money. You wouldn't have sniffed the league title. Sit on the ground, brother.
I think you've got to look at it from this point of view. Like Liverpool got caught cheating. They got their punishment for it.
Exactly.
But then
we paid it.
It's done. This here says, as a member of the Premier League, how can City refuse to disclose information? What are the league league membership rules? So yeah, look, there is no. My understanding is there is no obligation for any Premier League club to allow the Premier League's officials to essentially have access to your computer servers, your financials, because there's no regulator of the Premier League. So there is no. That's what they need to now appoint, in my opinion, is a regulator, just like the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, that could essentially turn up at any bank, any financial institute in the UK at any moment and say, we want access to everything, and they have to give them access. That's how you stop this going on in the future. But they don't have to disclose. But the problem you have is this. Because it isn't going to a court of law, because this is not a criminal offense, things do not have to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. Similar to employment. So whenever you're in an employee tribunal, you can turn around and go, we're not 100% sure if Flossie stole that item, but we really believe that Flossie did. And they can still make a decision to sack somebody without 100% cast iron proof. So because it's a civil matter. And this is the way this is. If the Premier League turn around and say, look, we've got all this evidence that City have done all these things, and City turn around and go, well, we're just not going to disclose it all. The QCs on the inquiry might side with City and say, well, you can't prove it categorically, so we're siding with City. They might turn around and go, the fact that City are saying they didn't do it but don't want to give you access, they might turn around and go, oh, we believe the Premier League, you guys are being too, especially when there's a precedent maybe being set by Chelsea saying, come in, come and see it all. So it can go either way, but there is no rule that states they have to disclose all their information, essentially, is what I've read in a number of these reports. As a United fan, there is part of me that feels sorry for the real Man City fans way before 2008, but not any glory hunter or arrogant prick like Hamza. He's not a prick. Hamza's not a prick. I will say he's a nice lad. He really is a nice lad. But listen, we know what happens if they do get put down to League One or something. Then Hamza just becomes a Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan again. That's what he'll do. By the way, if they got. Listen, this won't happen. But if they got properly done and were finished, and then the Sheikh sales, they're finished. What you'll find is certain City fans like Hamza, who I like Hamza, but I genuinely don't believe as a younger man he supported City. I do not believe it for love nor money. You'll just see him go back to the team he used to support. But he'll basically say, I got cheated on so hard, I had to leave, and I still love football, so I'm picking this team. I guarantee you that's what will happen. Mansour owns both City and Etihad Airways. When United or Liverpool get a new sponsor deal overthink a deal. Sorry, let me read that again. Mansour owns both City and Etihad Airways. When United or Liverpool got a new sponsor deal, ever think of the deal who match and how long it will run and have to go the same information both city sponsors?
I get what Tina's saying. Essentially, so basically, I think that's a she. Big up Tina.
Most Tinas are women.
Yes, I think it's a she, but I think that it's Norwegian, so it might be a he in Norwegian.
Could be.
Yeah,
Any Tinas out there, or geezers, let us know.
Big up Tinas, all the Tinas in the chat. The thing is, essentially, if I'm giving the Liverpool example, it's like the Boston Red Sox sponsoring a Liverpool Football Club when they're both owned by the same person. Tina's basically agreeing with what I'm saying regarding the same owners, and that's the biggest problem in this whole conversation for me personally. And of course, we're seeing all the reports that are coming out and stuff like that. Big up Tina.
Thank you, Tina. Created by the poor, stolen by the rich. City, PSG are cancer. Oh, Jesus. All right, that's a bit strong. It's a little strong. If City are found guilty, then I want our Champions League in Porto. I am shameless.
No
you can have it. Yeah, and then you'll have to give it back when you're found guilty. But equally, but there's a truth to that.
So what happens that year then? Because Chelsea and City are both guilty. If they're both guilty, then what?
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think you can give it. I understand the league title. You could give it to the team that comes second. But when it comes to the cups, you can't award it to anybody because, yes, they beat a team in the final. But then what about the teams you knocked out on the way? Does that make sense? Because
who was the semi-finalist that year? It was Bayern and no, it wasn't Real Madrid. It was Bayern and Lyon.
Remember it was
Bayern and Lyon.
No, Lyon knocked City out the year before that. I don't remember who the semi-finals were. Who did they? I can't remember. Chelsea
knocked out Madrid, Atletico, either Madrid or Atletico. Who did City knock out?
PSG. Yeah.
So now they have a PSG Atletico final.
Yeah. Let's do that in the summer, right? We'll get it done. This here says one thing that has been exposed is that Arsenal fans have been lying when they says Alexis over Hazard, because now they say they were robbed of the Premier League window. Yeah, they have exposed, and you are right on that, because again, people always eventually, if they'll always show their bum when they have an agenda, as opposed to believing what it is that they say. Because it just is what it is. Yeah, you're right. I agree. The Premier League has set a precedent now with Everton. They have to hit Chelsea hard if guilty.
Big up Dean.
If they are guilty, then they have to hit them very, very hard. You're bang on.
This is the problem, Terry. Now, because they've done this to Everton. Okay, you done this to Everton. They're found guilty. No problem. Okay, no problem. We all say they made a mistake. They're guilty. But now, if City are found guilty of even, I'm gonna say, you know what? Out of the 115 charges, they're only guilty of 15, or even they're only guilty of 5. They're only guilty of 10, whatever. Then what does the punishment become then? Or on a real, what does the punishment become? Because of one charge is 10 points, then what? Are you going to deduct 150 points from Manchester City? Like, what exactly is going to happen? That's the problem.
No, I agree. Ask you this, then say City is innocent. Will you apologize? And second, what punishment will the Prem face for lying? Well, that's a really good question. So if the Premier League are proven to be liars, it would mean that everything that they've charged City with would have to be a complete fabrication or a lie. So, for instance, the grass wasn't too long when they said that it was. The Premier League would have to be found guilty of creating those leaked emails, as an example. So you're never going to get to that point. If it turns out that City are completely innocent, these emails are lies, these emails are fakes, there is no empirical evidence, physical evidence, nothing that supports any of these claims, and it's all out there, then I'll say, there we go. And I'll give you an example of that, where it's a very emotive example. For 20 plus years, there was always debate and conjecture over what really happened at Hillsborough. Now, I wasn't really making content when the news broke and through all the tribunals, and it was ruled that, because initially it was ruled that the fans were the cause of it by being drunk and disorderly and overcrowding the stadium. That was overturned. When it was overturned and all the documents were released, I watched a number of TV shows, listened to a number of radio shows that explained this in great detail. And I was never somebody that was horrible about what had happened. But I had the stance of, well, it was very sad, but it was created because of this, because that's what the official documentation said. As soon as we were all told the truth and it was all completely and utterly revealed, a lot of people changed their minds. Now, my mind was changed many years before that because I've got family members that are Liverpool fans. And as I got older, they explained what really had happened. But the point is that more and more people in the general public changed their opinion about that situation because the evidence came to light. So yes, from my point of view, if it's proven that they're innocent and they've done nothing wrong and that's shown to us, then I'll believe it. However, if there's no new evidence shown, it's just, well, the courts decide they couldn't decide, so they've gone in City's favor or they couldn't prove it. I've still seen what I've seen. You've got to prove that those emails aren't real. You've got to prove and show what they mean. So yeah, 110%. I'll always change my mind if I'm shown new evidence. I don't have an outright agenda. You know, I have no outright agenda. And it's as simple as that. I remember being a kid. I remember talking about the Hillsborough thing with one of my older cousins who's a Liverpool fan. And I remember just saying to him, like, yeah, but not you guys. I didn't say it in that way. It was just sort of like, I understand it's sad, but that's why fans shouldn't do this and fans shouldn't do that. And he said, but it wasn't the fans. He broke down all the reasons it was. And I was like, oh, wow, I respect you and my cousin. I'm going to listen to you. And I always sort of took that stance. But most people that I ever spoke to about it were like, well, how can your mind change? I'm like, well, my mind changed because someone I trust has told me something. And then when it all came out and it was like official, I was talking to a lot of people and I said, I told you this is what was being said. But a lot of people just go with what the official sort of word on the situation is. Does that make sense? And I understand that because with all due respect, it's a hard thing. You can't research everything that's ever happened in life. You can't do, you just don't have the time of the day to do that. So you often go, well, the history books say this, or, you know, I read something on a website, or I watched an in-depth documentary about it, or I listened to a podcast about it. And that's kind of what my beliefs surrounds around. But I'm always someone, if I believe something and somebody in a credible way provides me with new evidence or a new way of thinking, I'll change my mind. I've done it for years. The irony is I get called a flip-flop for doing that. And then I get told that I don't do it. So yeah, it's a real important one for me. It really is for people to do that.